cannot say enough about the day in Denver, Colorado today. It is spectacular. The Denver Broncos have won the toss, and they will kick it away to the New York Jets, and that is Brad Smith standing in the Jets' end zone. The Jets lost their season opener to Baltimore and have been on a roll ever since. It's been up and down for the Broncos. They're trying to right the ship, and here we go with a long kick in this thin air that's going to sail out of the end zone. So that means the Jets will start at their own 20-yard line. And that means Mark Sanchez, the Jets quarterback in his second season out of Southern Cal, 8 touchdown passes, not a single turnover in the first 5 games of this season, and that is a heck of a turnaround from his rookie season a year ago.
And that leads directly to their one-loss record. Keep in mind their lone loss, while they played poorly offensively, was still only by a point.
On the first play from offense, it's LaDainian Tomlinson, and he'll be tackled for a 2-yard loss. The offensive line is anchored by 2-time Pro Bowler Nick Mangold, Ferguson and Slauson to one side, Moore and Woody the other. And the backs and the receivers and tight end Dustin Keller continues to set the pace for the Jets. 21 receptions, 5 of them for touchdown.
Greg, where this game is going to start for the Denver Broncos is about being physical. They were called out by their coach. They got mauled last week by the Ravens, and he called his team out and challenged their toughness.
Play fake. Sanchez pulls it down and looks and throws and almost picked off by Champ Bailey. Sanchez says he was lucky he didn't get picked off on Monday night, and he was lucky there.
He most certainly was, because Champ Bailey was in excellent position. Mark starts out looking to the left, but now that he scrambles to the right, he actually points to his receiver. Well, he might as well have told Champ Bailey right there, here's where I'm going, and in going there, he did. And the sure-handed Champ Bailey seldom doesn't come up with that INT.
3rd and 11. Here comes the blitz, picked up far side, and that one is almost picked off as well. On the far side of the field, coming close, was the rookie Parrish Cox.
Well, Mark Sanchez this time is trying to go back shoulder to Braylon Edwards. That's Edwards split out there at the top of your screen, but Braylon extends his route about 2 yards farther than Mark Sanchez thinks he is. Sanchez was throwing to a spot. Edwards went to a different spot.
Eddie Royal is deep for the punt. Coming from Steve Weatherford. Low line drive, returnable kick from his own 28. Midfield. Into Jet territory. The Denver Broncos couldn't ask for a better start. Meanwhile, at quarterback for the Broncos, not many QBs throwing the ball better than Kyle Orton these days. He's had to throw it lacking a ground game. His 1,733 yards, second best in the National Football League starting this day. He starts in the shotgun, and we have movement on the offensive line.
And for you Jets fans, that is Darrelle Revis lined up at
Full
left corner.
start, offense, number 50. 5-yard penalty remains, first down.
There's Darrelle Revis.
And the guy who got flagged for the penalty is the rookie center for the Denver Broncos, number 50, J.D. Walton, who's going to have an enormous amount of pressure on his shoulders today going against this pretty complex and varied pass rush of the Jets.
Empty backfield with Orton calling the signals on 1st and 15. That one's complete. Inside the 40 to the 35-yard line is Eddie Royal. Injuries have made it a makeshift offensive line. Rookie second-round pick Zane Beadle starts at right tackle. And Denver in desperate need of a running game. They get Noshawn Moreno back from a hamstring injury today. This is Moreno. forcing his way inside the 20. Ball is on the ground. Picked up by the Jets' Darrelle Revis. And Revis is tackled. And Jets grab the first turnover of the game.
And everything was working perfectly for Denver. They went to a bit of a hurry up. They get a big hole in here for Moreno. Look at that gash he's got in there off a left guard. And he's got even both hands on the football. But what a great job by Drew Coleman of getting in there and ripping it out. Look at number 30 come in on the far side, and he just rips that ball away from Moreno.
And he even covered it up.
Yep, and even though Moreno had both hands and both arms bracketing the ball. What a job by Drew Coleman.
So the Jets take over at their own 17. 3 receivers to the near side of the field. LaDainian Tomlinson straight ahead through a hole across the 20 to about the 23-yard line. DJ Williams and Mario Hagan combining to bring him to a stop. Dan, considering that run by Moreno, that was something that Denver Broncos fans haven't seen around here.
No, they haven't. They have been run. Say some teams don't run the ball well would be an understatement for Denver.
You see what the Jets defense has done.
Opportunistic.
2nd and 5. Once again, straight ahead, and not so much this time. Maybe to the 24-yard line is LaDainian Tomlinson.
You heard Greg reference that run by Denver. They're a team. You say some teams aren't running the ball well. They're not running it at all. They are dead last in the NFL running the football by such a wide margin. So we have the complete polar opposite rushing attacks on display here this afternoon. The best in the league with the Jets, the worst in the league with the Broncos.
3rd and 3. Short drop, Sanchez looking both ways, buying time, still has time and has to eat it. Run over by DJ Williams.
Well, I think Mark Sanchez, after nearly throwing 2 interceptions on their first drive, showed some caution there. And that's not a bad thing. That is not a bad thing. I'm sure he's thinking, I got lucky twice. Maybe I shouldn't try it a 3rd time. The sack is not the end of the world.
Only the 6th sack of the season for the Denver defense. Eddie Royal is deep.
A shame a lot of great protection went to waste.
Royal, fair catch. At his own 31-yard line. 11:26 to play. First quarter of a scoreless game in Denver. .26 to play in the first quarter back in Denver. First down for the Broncos from their own 31-yard line. And we get a whistle. And some shoving and penalty marker on the near side of the field.
The Jets are going to get a personal foul. I don't know what the first penalty is, but Bart Scott gave a good shot right in front of an official. There was nothing happening at all. You can't do that out in space.
Bart Scott was way over here on the sideline too.
There are 2 fouls on the play, 1 against each team. False start, offense, number 27. At the end of the play, there's a personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 57. By rule, this 5 and 15-yard penalty will result in a 10-yard net gain, first down for Denver.
Advantage Broncos.
Yep.
Tony Correnti, our referee today. Here in his 2nd season, head coach here in Denver, Josh McDaniels, feeling a little pressure, off to a great start. His rookie year last year, not so good since.
Well, they opened up at 6-0, and since then they've been 4-11. Yes, I would say not so hot since that unbelievable start, and then the disappointment of opening up 6-0 and ending up 8-8.
And we're having a few issues with the clock.
Or not, we went 15 yards against the defense. By rule, this is a 5 versus 15 enforcement. with a 15-yard penalty only being enforced against the defense.
So Tony Correnti makes it a 15-yard.
Well, just keep in mind, a personal foul always wins. It will be enforced.
So the line of scrimmage now, the Denver 46. And Orton going to go deep down the near sideline and overthrows the intended receiver, Brandon Lloyd. The number one leader in the National Football League starting the day. Meanwhile, a look at the Jet defense. Sean Ellis, 71.5 career sacks under his belt. Terrific linebackers, led by David Harris and Darrelle Revis in the secondary. And in the hurry up, this is Correll Buckhalter trying the right side, and he'll get it to midfield.
Well, it looks like Denver, knowing the Jets are on a short week, they played Monday night, they had to travel all the way out here. They got here Friday in an attempt to acclimate a little bit to the air. But Denver, I think, would just as soon as be a briskly paced game, try to test the lungs and the endurance a little bit of the Jets, see if they're a little tired.
3rd and 6 now. Orton. And miscommunication on the far side of the field. Brandon Lloyd was nearest to the football.
Well, the Jets came with the blitz, and Lloyd did not break off his route and make the blitz adjustment, which the way Orton threw the ball was to run a 9 or a fly pattern right down the sideline. That's a question where Orton doesn't have the luxury of waiting to see what his receiver is going to do. He's got to get rid of it under pressure.
Jim Leonard deep for the Jets inside his own 10. And Britton Colquitt to kick it away. Leonard going to let it float, and it'll bounce into and through the end zone for the touchback. Just about 10.5 minutes to play here in the first quarter of a scoreless game. Jets and Denver will be back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. The Dodge Challenger. Visit your local Dodge dealer today. And by Sprint, the Now Network.
Jets from their own 20-yard line. Sean Green and the rookie John Connor in the backfield. And this is Green following Connor to the left side for a couple.
Well, I think everyone on North American continent knows that Mark Sanchez hasn't thrown an interception yet, but he's been close. Looks like Patrick Chung had one there, but it was reversed. And then in the Miami game, Jason Allen almost picks him off, but not quite. There's another one. Antoine Winfield almost gets him. And then twice so far today, first Champ Bailey and then the rookie Parrish Cox. So Mark Sanchez, he has had a lot of close calls, but still a 0 in the INT column.
He'll throw here on 2nd and 7. Has time and intercepted there. Just across the 30-yard line, picked off by Jason Hunter. Inside the 25, inside the 20, and the Broncos are set up in the red zone, and a late flag is thrown.
There are a couple flags on the field, one at about the 13, one back at the 5. Whether they're for the same foul or not, we're going to find out in a minute.
At the conclusion of the play, there are 2 fouls, both against Denver. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 57. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness for the late hit here. By rule, the 15-yard penalty, it'll be Denver's ball, 1st and 10.
So the foul is on Mario Hagan, and it will back the Broncos up a bit. But let's go back to the pick, which at first glance looked like a horribly thrown ball, Dan.
Well, there's no one anywhere near where this football is going other than Hunter. Look at this. He's trying to get the ball on a crossing pattern, but Hunter's just sitting there. He's got the hook zone as a linebacker, and he is just sitting there, and all of a sudden, here comes a ball floating right to him. And there you see Hagan coming in at the very end of the play, hitting a jet from behind and knocking him clear out of bounds.
You know, it was funny, too. We were talking about Sanchez's near interceptions. He told us that the football gods were evening things up for him up until then.
Yep. Well, Hunter was just sitting in his hook zone.
This is Lawrence Maroney, and Maroney just inside the 30-yard line. This is the third Denver drive of the game, and 2 of them starting in Jets territory. And onto the field now is number 15, Tim Tebow.
Well, Josh McDaniels told us that he had some packages for Tebow, and he wanted to get him in early in the game.
Orton flanks to the top of the field. Tebow calling the signals. And gives it straight ahead to Buckhalter. First down, close to the 15-yard line.
And keep in mind what a huge run this Buckhalter's average on the season is less than 2 yards a carry. And it's pretty obvious that Tebow's presence kept the guys on the edges and out of the middle. What a wide open hole for Buckhalter. A good looking play, but again, I think the concern about Tebow getting to the edge.
Same setup. Tebow calls signal. Hands it off to Buckhalter. In the first 5 games of this season, Denver had just 4 runs for 10 or more yards. They've had 2 today.
And Tebow gets a nice hand as he comes out of the game. Well, Josh was true to his word. He said he wanted to get him in and give him that look, and it was productive.
The line of scrimmage is the Jets 13. 2nd and 7. Orton on the slant, inside the 10, complete to Jabbar Gaffney.
Well, Kyle Orton has had a sensational year throwing the football, and this kind of a throw, it's very emblematic of how he's been doing. You know, Darrelle Revis had really tight coverage on Gaffney, but on that slant route, when the ball is thrown that well and the receiver shields it, impossible for anybody, even Darrelle Revis, to make a play on it.
Buckhalter in the backfield on 3rd and 1. He gets the handoff and he loses yardage.
Hello.
David Harris led the charge.
And there was a group, but the Jets' leading tackler was the first one there. And Rex Ryan, he blitzes the run as well as he blitzes the pass. And look at that penetration. There are, 5 Jets in the backfield of the Broncos.
Matt Prater will attempt the field goal from 28 yards out. Matt Prater was hitting them from 60 yards out in pregame. Easily. And they bobbled the snap.
It looked
and
like
taken down at about the 23-yard line.
The snap looked low.
Here's the snap. It did bounce on its way back to the holder. That snap centered by Lonnie Paxton. Not good. Hey, tomorrow on CBS, Hawaii Five-0 is turning up the heat and laying down the law. Don't miss TV's #1 news show, Hawaii Five-0, tomorrow, only CBS. Lonnie Paxton, the long snapper, guilty of that miscue on the last possession.
He's a veteran guy. He's been doing it for 11 years.
On first down, Tomlinson. Still on his feet to about the 25-yard line, and let's go back to that play.
Well, the snap is a dribbler. It barely even makes it all the way back there. That is a major misfire. And who might be the most relieved guy in the stadium? Number 6, I believe. His turnover didn't cost his team any points, and he had a nice little exchange with offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer on the way out there, giving him the old pat on the back, saying, "Hey, I'm all right. I'm over it. Let's move on."
I mentioned to you during the break, Dan, the Broncos really couldn't have gotten more breaks early in this game than they've gotten.
Well,
they haven't been able to capitalize.
No, 1 fumble, 1 bad snap, 0 points.
And the Jets call a timeout and use their first here in the first half. 5:50 to play in a scoreless game in Denver.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. Find an agent or get a quote at statefarm.com. And by Denny's new Build Your Own Omelet. Choose from 17 different ingredients and make your own omelet your own way.
Broncos' average starting position in this game, early as it is, has been the Jet 48. The Jets have been starting at their own 20 and have not been generating much offense. Tomlinson and Connor in the backfield. Sanchez fakes, looks, directs traffic, and throws to the near sideline, and it's complete to Braylon Edwards. Out of bounds at about the 27-yard line.
Well, you see a lot of times where that bootleg by Sanchez coming around the corner results in a wide open receiver. But this time Denver did a really good job of defending it. You can see right there, the rookie Cox is right there with him, and the only separation occurs after Edwards just kind of dispatches him. It's quite a nice little shove by Braylon Edwards.
3rd and 6. Sanchez over the middle. That's complete. Across the 30 and close to a first down is Santonio Holmes.
Oh, the question is whether or not Holmes was able to stretch the ball across
and the
necessary yardage. That was so close, and that was all because Santonio Holmes had the awareness to stretch out with the football.
Holmes got enough for the first down. It'll be first down at the Jet 34. Their first down of this game. Tomlinson squeezing through to about the 40-yard line. DJ Williams with the stop.
Well, it's time for the Jets to take advantage of, if you ask Josh McDaniels, if you ask Champ Bailey, they tell you it's the best offensive line in football. This group for the New York Jets, and on the road, running the football, Josh McDaniels, he was concerned as to whether his guys were going to be able to stand up to this group. They are really good.
The Wildcat on the Jets is Seminole, and that's what's in there now. Brad Smith calling the signals. And he hands it off. Straight ahead is Sean Green, and they get very little.
Well, not only did they go Wildcat, but then they go to an unbalanced line. You could see that DeBrickashaw Ferguson, the left tackle, was all the way over playing the tight end on the right side. So this is a veteran group with the exception of the second-year quarterback. Mark Sanchez in a nice little rocking chair with a ton of offensive talent surrounding him.
3rd and short yardage, and Denver wants a timeout. So Denver burns its first timeout. And we'll take a break and come right back.
You're watching the NFL on CBS.
With 3:36 to play in the first quarter, the Jets looking at a 3rd and 2 at their own 42. Sanchez rolls and throws and completes it, and to the 45-yard line is Jericho Cotchery for a first down.
Boy, and that is a nicely designed, very safe play, taking advantage of how good Mark Sanchez is on the move. He is so comfortable throwing the ball on the run. His mechanics are perfect. Puts it right there for Cotchery, and almost pretty hard not to guarantee yourself 3 or 4 yards on a play like that. But Mark Sanchez so comfortable on the move.
So now the Jets with a first down and some breathing room out to their own 45. The pitch, Green, lost yardage on the play. Or Tomlinson, excuse me. LaDainian Tomlinson.
This was reminiscent of the old student Bobby Left, as the Jets get all sorts of people out in front of here. Ferguson, Slauson, both coming around the corner. But it was really Champ Bailey getting upfield and turning it back to the inside. And that was, penetration again. And Tomlinson, I don't know if he's got something in his eye or
whatever it is, has him on the sideline. Yeah. And Sean Green into the Jets backfield on 2nd and 11. Sanchez with time, throwing across the field, and that is complete across midfield to the tight end, Dustin Keller, for a first down.
And Keller heads right for the sideline. I'm not sure. Dustin Keller acts like that play left a mark of some kind. What a throw by Mark Sanchez, though. Fitting that into really good coverage. Nate Jones, the safety, he is not in bad position at all. And look at Keller. Look at the job he does of using his forearm to create a little separation, but without the obvious push that'll draw a flag. That was well done.
Now first down from the Denver 44. Quick pass, near side, complete to Cotchery. And Cotchery dragged down at about the 36. Nate Jones with the tackle.
Well, you kind of get a feel right now that Brian Schottenheimer is into a little bit of a rhythm calling these plays. He's using some high percentage throws, and when the time came for a tight throw downfield, Sanchez was able to deliver. But right now, he's got the defense of the Broncos guessing a little bit.
Since that interception, Mark Sanchez has completed 5 straight. Second and short yardage, and Tomlinson behind Sanchez.
There's that unbalanced line again.
Tomlinson, left side, first down.
See, that's breaking
to the 32.
That's breaking a tendency. You bring Brickashaw Ferguson, the left tackle, and you move him clear over to the tight end position on the right, and then you run away from it. You know, you're thinking to yourself, this is a power formation. Here's Ferguson all the way over here, and what do? They run away from what looks obvious and run back to the weak side, which in this instance was the left.
Half a minute to play here in the first quarter. The Jets driving now from the Denver 32. And the pass outside off the hands of Dustin Keller, the tight end. And that'll stop the clock with 19 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Dan, it's always interesting to see how a team is going to react to injury. And the Broncos are a beat-up football team, and you never know whether that's going to help them band together and add to that the way their coach came down on them after the loss last week.
Well, certainly, at least through one quarter of play, from an intensity standpoint, it appears that they're trying to answer the challenge that was dropped by their head coach. I would agree with you there. They seem to be, they're playing spirited football.
On second and 10, this is Tomlinson, and Tomlinson gets wrapped up by Jason Hunter. And with that, time will wind down here in the first quarter. That's the end of one here in Denver. Jets and the Broncos are scoreless. We're coming back to Denver after these messages. You are watching the NFL on CBS. As we start the second quarter, that's an incredible stat as it stands on its own. Add to that the fact that as the day started, the Jets come into this game as the #1 rushing team in the NFL.
Well, when your two primary ball carriers are averaging 4.5 and nearly 6 yards a carry, yeah, to be averaging 2, Schottenheimer's in uncharted territory.
Now here's Sanchez on 3rd and 10. Straight drop, pass time, going for the end zone, and it's caught. Touchdown, Braylon Edwards.
Well, there aren't many patterns in football better than the classic post pattern, and that's what Braylon Edwards runs this time. And we've got an injured Denver Bronco, but look at the stack right there, the fake to the outside, and then no safety coverage at all for the Denver Broncos. And you're asking Champ Bailey to cover a lot of ground in a trail position.
And Bailey is still on the ground in the end zone. And gosh, it looks like he might have gotten kicked at the end of that play, but that was just a quick look-see. We'll take a break and come right back. Champ Bailey walking off the field under his own power, but this is what happened, Dan.
Watch him and watch how he lands right here on the heel. Right there, his ribs come down on the right heel of Braylon Edwards. And Bailey stayed down that entire 2-minute break and barely got off the field.
Nick Bolt kicks the extra point, and it is good. So Champ Bailey injured slightly on this touchdown pass. Sanchez to Braylon Edwards, and the Jets on top, 7-0.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx. We understand you need a winning game plan. FedEx. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And by the all-new Volkswagen Jetta. It's great for the price of good. That's Das Auto.
Hey, check out the new CBSSports.com shop for officially licensed NFL gear and get 3-day shipping on every order. Go to shop.cbssports.com.
Well, there's Champ Bailey again. He's headed into the locker room, I'm sure, for some x-rays. And he did. His ribs landed right on the back of the heel of Braylon Edwards, and that was a pretty good shot. And he was down there the whole 2 minutes, and time-wise barely got off there over to the sideline. He was walking, but obviously in real pain.
Long kick through the end zone, and that'll be a touchback. And the Denver Broncos and Kyle Orton will start on the 20-yard line. As you watch Champ Bailey leave the field, they were really thin at cornerback before, and now, missing Champ Bailey, you wonder what the Broncos are going to be like on defense.
Well, the other starting corner, Andre Goodman, he's inactive today because Goodman's got a quad strain. Brian Dawkins, their starting safety, he's not playing today because of a knee. His backup, McBath, he's out with an injury. And now Champ Bailey, they're going to have to go up into the stands here in a minute.
Orton throwing, and that's complete. Across the 30, across the 35 is Jabbar Gaffney for a Denver first down. And a pretty nice looking throw by Kyle Orton.
Well, this is what Kyle Orton has been doing all season long, throwing with confidence. And again, we're back to this quick tempo, this up-tempo offense by the Broncos. I think that they haven't shown a great deal of the really up-tempo like this. I think this is going to, they're trying to test the Jets defensively and see how tired they can get them, how quickly they can do it.
Lawrence Maroney is in the backfield as Denver tries to generate some sort of a running game.
And if you're Josh McDaniels, you'll try anything. You need to shake it up somehow.
On 2nd and 9, the fake to Maroney, the pass over the middle, and that's complete across midfield and into Jet territory. And once again, Jabbar Gaffney on the receiving end.
This is something Denver has been doing all season, and it's mystifying. Running play action and getting away with it because they have no running game.
Who believes they're going to run the football?
They haven't been able to run it, and yet Orton all season long has been very effective with the play action. That wasn't the best of throws. It was a heck of a catch by Gaffney.
The pitch to Eddie Royal, turning the corner inside the 40, inside the 35 to the 34-yard line, and another Bronco first down. Jim Leonard making the tackle.
Oh, love the play because it gets the ball into the most exciting guy that the Broncos have when he has the football in space, and that's Eddie Royal. Look at that move right there that he puts on Coleman. In space, Eddie Royal is just fun to watch. Coleman, he never even got a finger on him.
Tim Tebow into the backfield, calling signals. Option the other way, and he's dragged down at about the 32 by Brian Thomas.
Well, you talk to any of the defenders for either team, and when Brad Smith is in it for the Jets or Tebow for the Broncos, it is all about gap control and playing gaps and not playing the ball. And that's exactly what Brian Thomas did right there. He honored his responsibility, didn't chase the ball, stayed where he was supposed to be.
On 2nd and 8, Orton throwing the slant and in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, Brandon Lloyd.
Well, the matchup we're going to be looking a lot at here today is Cromartie and Lloyd. Lloyd with more yardage coming into today than any receiver in football. That's a ball, though, that he should have caught. Again, Kyle Orton is throwing a sizzling ball today, and he's right on target.
And you can't really say that Orton has yet tested Darrelle Revis very much.
No.
3rd and 8. Orton down the far sideline, and it is caught inside the 10-yard line by Jabbar Gaffney, and that one was on Darrelle Revis.
Well, Jabbar Gaffney and Revis locked up. They're on Revis Island, and Darrelle Revis saw the football, made a play on it, and it just goes by his arm as he tries to reach up and swat it away.
And now Tim Tebow back into the lineup as the Broncos go first and goal from the 5.
You're not going to complete many passes against Darrelle Revis where he's got coverage that tight.
Coming to the near side, to the end zone, touchdown, Tim Tebow. His first NFL touchdown.
Well, he is able to get to the outside because Ehedebo, who has contained to that side, does not get upfield and does not force the issue. He ends up on the ground, and Tebow gets to the edge and gets a pretty easy alley into the end zone.
Prater's extra point kick is good. 11-11 to play in the first half, and the Denver Broncos pull even on the touchdown run by Tim Tebow. Broncos 7, Jets 7. A Tim Tebow 5-yard touchdown run that probably brought smiles to the great southeast portion of the United States.
Well, I guarantee a lot of smiles in Colorado as well.
Onside kick. And picked off by the Broncos. The Broncos catch the Jets by surprise, and number 33, Nate Jones, with the recovery. And we have a player down at the 45-yard line. We'll take a timeout, check this injury, and be right back. Denver ball, Spencer Larson.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the new Silver Bullet aluminum pint from Coors Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Spencer Larson came off the field. He threw a pretty key block in this recovery, Dan.
Well, he really made it happen. First of all, Prater drives his way up into the air, but the nearest Jet is Cummings right there, and Larson takes him out and really removes him from being an option to recover the ball. The rest of the Jets' kickoff receiving team caught totally by surprise, something you don't see a Westhoff unit doing very often.
This is Maroney looking for running room. Penalty marker flies as Maroney is run out of bounds short of midfield. Here's Tony Correnti.
Holding, offense, number 71. 10-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
That's Russ Hochstein. And they'll do first down all over again.
Well, certainly Josh McDaniels has gone pretty deep into the coaching bag of tricks here so far. He's got Tim Tebow running for touchdowns, onside kicks. His team was in desperate need of a spark, and he's trying to provide it with some coaching.
So on first and 20 from the 35. Orton, far side of the field, and tipped away by Revis. Pass intended for Jabbar Gaffney. It'll be second and 20. This Denver team comes into the game last in the league in rushing at just under 52 yards a game. They have 55 so far today.
Well, there was a surprise right there that Kyle Orton would challenge Darrelle Revis when he had that kind of coverage. There had to be some other people on the field that weren't covered nearly that well. And if you're a Jets fan, so far Darrelle Revis looks like he's moving pretty well without any hitch or any sort of a gimp in his stride. He appears to be running just fine.
Second and 20. Here come the Jets. Orton over the middle, and a penalty marker flies from the secondary. And Drew Coleman does not like the call. Pass intended for Eddie Royal.
Holding defense number 30. 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Well, Drew Coleman is working on Royal, who's in the slot there, the second one down. And Royal gets the inside release, and Coleman really, he had a hand on his shoulder, but that was really more of an Eddie Royal stumble. But the stumble was what the official saw, and that drew the flag.
First down now at their own 40. Maloney to the 45. Mike DeVito, Eric Smith with the stop.
You know, Greg, you touched on the Denver running game, and Josh McDaniels telling us that we didn't get much work done during training camp. Our line was always hurt. Our backs were hurt. We're having to work on it during the season. And I don't know what they got done this week, but it's showing up here.
Maroney trying to break free and cannot, is down at about the 44. Jason Taylor was the first one to get penetration. So this will be a 3rd and 6.
Well, I can only talk about what it must be like to be an offensive lineman or a running back on a team that is only averaging 2 yards a carry for a season. There's got to be some degree of embarrassment there.
Orton on 3rd and 6, over the middle, incomplete. Gaffney, the intended receiver, and the Broncos will kick it away. Incidentally, Champ Bailey is back on the sideline for the Broncos. He, we are told, just had the wind knocked out of him, and his return is probable. Colquitt to kick it away to Leonard. And Leonard will let this one go as it floats into the end zone for the touchback. 9 minutes, 20 seconds to play in the first half. Kyle Orton, somebody in his face as he let this one go. The life of a quarterback. Hey, tonight on CBS, The Amazing Race goes extreme as teams square off in the Arctic Circle and one intense competition sends someone over the edge. A new Amazing Race after 60 minutes tonight, only CBS. 9:20 to play in the first half. Champ Bailey back on the field. Got to be a bit of a relief to the Denver Broncos coaching staff. The 9-time Pro Bowler, Sean Green and Tony Richardson in the backfield. First down for Sanchez and the Jets. Sanchez with time, complete across the middle to Braylon Edwards for about a 5-yard pickup.
Just a very shallow crossing pattern here by Braylon Edwards, but the ball placed perfectly by Mark Sanchez. And you can see the coverage by the Broncos pretty darn good. Almost got a hand on the ball. Sanchez, they'll put it right on his hands.
Meanwhile, the Jets' #1 rushing offense held to just 22 yards rushing so far today. On 2nd and 5, Sean Green gets about 6 for a first down.
Well, one of the things that the Broncos have done defensively, because they lost Robert Ayers, who's not playing today, they're traditionally a 3-4 team. Because the Jets run the ball so much and because of necessity, they're playing an awful lot of 4-3 here this afternoon. Getting that 4th defensive lineman into the game and just trying to be a little more stout along the line of scrimmage. And it's working so far. We're not halfway through the second quarter, but I'm sure they're pleased with it. The way they've held up against the run to this point.
Brad Smith in at a wide receiver spot to give this to Green, and Green trying to pick his way through right tackle and got maybe a couple of yards before he's brought to a stop. Interesting talking with Brad Smith yesterday, wasn't it, Dan?
You know, he's such a likable guy, and he's such a selfless teammate. So popular in the locker room. He was a wonderful college quarterback. He would still like to be playing quarterback. He says, you know, once you get used to having the ball in your hands every play, you never get over that. But he's a selfless guy. He likes winning. He loves this environment with the Jets. He admits early in his career he thought about what it'd be like to play someplace else, but he's very happy in New York.
2nd and 7. Short drop, pump fake, throwing outside and overthrew Dustin Keller, and he had him wide open.
Late
penalty
play.
markers down.
Pass interference, offense number 81. 10-yard penalty, repeat, 2nd down.
Well, Greg, you commented that Keller was wide open. Let's watch him out here on Champ Bailey. He did get a good shove on Champ Bailey. Bailey might have overreacted, but as wide open as he was, that ball sailed on Sanchez. That looked like it was 5 yards over Keller's head.
So the Jets are back to their own 24, 2nd and 17. And let's see who they call on for long yardage here. Sanchez over the middle. Tomlinson out of the backfield, stumbles at the 30 and got up and advanced to the 32 before Mario Hagan was there to put a stop to his forward progress.
Well, that'll go down as a completion, but Mark Sanchez would love to have that back because he throws it behind LT, who has to go behind him and take it off his back shoulder, and having to do a 360, he gets his feet caught up. If Mark Sanchez can put that out in front of Tomlinson, where he's able to turn his hips and shoulders upfield, that might have gone for a nice chunk of yardage.
3rd and 9 on Orange Sunday in Denver. Another pump fake, gonna go deep, far side of the field. It is rule of catch. There's a penalty marker down.
Well, Holmes caught the ball. Was he in bounds or not?
There's a flag at the 45-yard line.
Pass interference, offense number 10. 10-yard penalty, repeat, 3rd down.
Man, when's the last time you saw 2 offensive pass interference calls on the same drive? One by Dustin Keller and one by Santonio Holmes. And both against Champ Bailey. Oh, right there. Yep, right there with the left hand. Holmes pushed him away. No doubt about that one. Well, you know, when you're as good as Champ Bailey, you're close enough to where the guy doesn't like it.
In the Jets hotel last night, as we were exiting the elevator, Santonio kind of gave me a shove, so it doesn't surprise me.
Well, you know, that's all brought about by the fact that Champ Bailey had such good coverage on the guys.
3rd and 19. Going to give it straight ahead to Tomlinson. Tomlinson dragged down at the 28, and we have another penalty marker.
Prior to the snap, timeout was called by the Denver coaching staff. Timeout, number 2, Denver.
So that
This is a
play did not
30-second
count,
timeout.
as Denver burned its 2nd timeout. And while we have the opportunity, we'll tell you the new NFL.com mobile apps have arrived. No matter where you are, you can track scores, set fantasy lineups, and get highlights of your team's big plays. Go to NFL.com/mobile to learn more.
That's a strange time to take a defensive timeout in a 3rd and very long situation for the offense. It's fairly predictable in terms of what defense you want to have out on the field.
It was a good look at Champ Bailey.
Well, and it's I know everyone who's a fan of Denver is just thrilled knowing the injury situation on the defensive side of the ball, that he's okay.
3rd and 19. Tomlinson tries the left side. And that Denver defense, tough as nails for the most part today. You know, remember Bill Cowher in the NFL Today saying that he liked Denver in this game despite all of the injuries, and he cited the short week that the Jets had as well as the travel.
Well, and I think that's he's thinking that this team is going to react to what happened to them last week and the fact they were called out by the coach.
Eddie Royal deep for the punt. Royal will let it bounce at the 20. And then it bounces back across the 20 before the Jets get a chance to down the football.
Well, the hamstring of Darrelle Revis and how it was going to be has been such a big story because last week, Monday night against Minnesota, pretty obvious that he was hurting. He wasn't able to cover. Percy Harvin gets away from him. It's not even close. And even though that was a completion to Gaffney, the coverage and the stride and the physical ability that we've seen so far in this first half by Darrelle Revis has to really be good news for Jets fans.
And Rex Ryan had a really interesting thing to consider with the Jets having a bye week upcoming.
He wanted him to play and to work his way through this, so it wasn't an issue anymore.
No Sean Marino.
No Sean, no hole.
No game.
27, no Sean Marino.
Nice job there. That was Bart Scott who was right in the middle of that thing. The loquacious linebacker of the New York Jets. What a nice form tackle as he goes right through Russ Hochstein.
Who, Bart? He doesn't talk much.
No. It's one thing to make a nice tackle like that, but to do it with a guard that you went right through at the same time. Well done.
Orton sprints the field on 2nd and 9. That was batted up in the air and incomplete at the line of scrimmage. And we got a penalty marker on the far side of the field.
I think Boua might have gotten a hand on that.
Illegal formation, offense. Number 78 on the offensive line was left uncovered. This penalty has been declined. 3rd down.
Now that penalty isn't really on Ryan Clady, the left tackle. What that means is he was uncovered. That means that someone to his outside wasn't on the line of scrimmage. That involuntarily to Clady made him an eligible receiver. So it's just, poor guy, he gets singled out, but he didn't do anything wrong.
Meanwhile, Marino in the backfield on 3rd and 9. Orton in and out of the hands of his intended receiver. Eddie Royal had a first down but couldn't hold on, and Drew Coleman was right there with him.
Perfectly executed by Kyle Orton. The unaccounted blitz is coming to his left. The Jets are going to get right in his face, but he makes the snap decision. Here comes the coverage, the rush from the left, and he delivers a really good ball. See it coming right at him, 2 Jets defenders, and he throws it right in there. Yep, good coverage, but Eddie Royal could have caught that ball.
So Jim Leonard deep for the kick from Copeland. What a terrific kick by Copeland from the 20. Back to about the 32 or 33-yard line, and Saquon Thompson makes the special teams play. Tonight on 60 Minutes, it's a wonder of the world in the holiest of cities, a dig that's uncovering thousands of years of history. So why is it causing so much tension? Tonight on 60 Minutes, only CBS.
It is crystal clear sunshine here today. The air is very dry, and we are watching the kickers in pregame warm-up, and now the punters during the course of this game. The ball is traveling.
The numbers are there. Brandon Lloyd, nary a reception so far. Tomlinson will start with the give to Sean Green. Green tripped up at the line of scrimmage.
Jason Hunter that time, the linebacker, got upfield and destroyed that play. And this NFL leading ground game of the New York Jets right now is yet to really get untracked. 35 yards on the day.
Well, Josh McDaniels met business this week, didn't he? Put his pads Wednesday and Thursday. John Connor in the backfield at fullback for the Jets. Play fake. Sanchez looks over the middle, wide open. Caught by Keller, and Keller to about the 43 of the Denver Broncos in a first down.
Well, you got 2 guys running the same pattern at different levels. Connor, the fullback, is going to go shallow, and then in behind him is Keller. And when the defense comes up on Connor and they come up to rough, when they come up to rush Sanchez as he's a running threat. They just totally disregard Dustin Keller. I mean, Dustin Keller is by far and away Mark Sanchez's favorite target, and the Broncos just totally lost sight of it. For some reason, they were all over John Connor.
So first down now in Denver territory. And back to the ground game, and Green straight up the middle inside the 40 to about the 38 of the Broncos. And 2.5 minutes to play in the first half. Timeout situation, Jets have 2, Denver has 1 remaining.
Well, no dancing that time from Sean Green. That was just lower your pad level and just get some positive yardage and finish it off.
You know, it's no coincidence as Mark Sanchez is going to take a walk off the field, a 2-minute warning comes up. No coincidence the Jets have the best rushing offense in the league. Every Denver player we talked about was in admiration of that Jets offensive line. 2 minutes to play here in the first half of a 7-7 game. Just a reminder, the Sprint halftime report comes your way next. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cowher, all the scores and highlights. Back to the Seminole formation. Brad Smith calling signals, and he's going to keep it and run it and get it inside the 30 or the 35 to about the 31.
Well, DJ Williams, the middle linebacker for the Broncos, telling us that when Brad Smith is in there in that Seminole, that they're really treating it as a conventional offense. They're viewing him as a quarterback when he's in there, not as a running back who just happens to be lining up in the shotgun. They're treating him as a QB and playing it accordingly.
Clock is running, 1.5 minutes to play in the first half. Sanchez on first down. Quick pass out here to the near side to Kachary, and Kachary to about the 27 or 28-yard line. Parrish Cox, the 5th-round draft choice out of Oklahoma State with the stop.
Boy, and making his 3rd start of the year, and that was a really good play on his part, because that thing is all predicated on making him miss, and that might go for a touchdown if he misses that tackle, because he was getting a good block out front by Edwards.
60 seconds to play in the first half. 2nd and 7 for Sanchez. Going to go for the end zone. Santonio Holmes had it batted down by Parrish Cox.
Well, this is a case where Mark Sanchez is hopeful that his receiver can go up and make a play because the coverage was there. And if anything, Santonio Holmes ends up playing defensive back and actually is trying to break this up because Parrish Cox was the guy that was in the position to make that catch. That was a good work by Santonio Holmes, keeping that from being an INT.
Sanchez has been terrific on 3rd down today. He's looking at 3rd and 7 here and needs the 21 for a first down. Sanchez got rid of it, and he's intercepted for the 2nd time today. Sidquan Thompson picks it off and returns to the 35-yard line.
Another rookie, Sidquan Thompson. He's their 7th-round draft pick. And a lot of people you wouldn't expect to be making plays are making them for the Denver Broncos. Again, Mark Sanchez looking all the way to the right, trying to go to Dustin Keller, but doesn't see the underneath coverage coming right underneath Keller. Again, he looked and he stared down Keller, and that brought Sidquan Thompson from the outside to the in. You see how he fell off his receiver? And that is so hard for a quarterback to see when a defender runs with a receiver, then falls off him and gets in on the play.
Orton under pressure over the middle and throws behind his intended receiver, Eddie Royal. The Jets coming in with plus 11 in the turnover ratio, the best in the NFL. They're -1 today.
Well, there's a lot of things that are not going to form for the New York Jets, and Mark Sanchez throwing interceptions certainly part of that.
Yeah, as he put it, the quarterback gods may be evening things up. 2nd and 10. Five straight incompletions thrown by Orton. He looks, and made it 6 in a row as he gets rid of it and stops the clock with 27 seconds to play.
Well, if you're one of those guys that just sits around and goes, Well, you know, the only thing the prevent defense does is prevent you from winning. You never say that when you're a Jets fan, because Rex Ryan is going to come with pressure regardless of the situation. There are a lot of defensive coaches here that might go, oh, I don't want to blitz. We might give up the big play, only a few seconds left in the half. That is not his MO.
Third and 10, and the Jets are deep in the secondary.
Here they come again.
Over the middle. That's complete. Royal to the 41.
Well, and Kyle Orton made him pay because his guys up front, even though the Jets brought 6, they blocked every one of them. This is well done by Denver. Look at this. Jason Taylor drops off. They actually end up bringing 5, but well done by the guys up front. And Coleman, you see right there, isn't able to keep up with Eddie Royal.
Now, it bears repeating, Dan, you and I sat here before the game and marveled at the length that Prater had on his field goals in the pregame.
Well, we're watching him kick 55-yarders, and we're speculating that might have been good from 65 or more.
Yeah.
55-yard field goals weren't getting over the crossbar. They were going into the net.
Broncos are out of timeouts, 21 seconds on the clock. Orton going to go down the sideline, and it is almost intercepted by Antonio Cromartie, intended for Brandon Lloyd.
Brandon Lloyd is being removed from this football game by Antonio Cromartie. And again, we're seeing some quarterbacks throwing to covered receivers on a repeated basis. Again, Kyle Orton had to be looking at that, and you couldn't have any better coverage than Antonio Cromartie had that time on Brandon Lloyd.
Broncos need about 3 more yards for a 56-yard field goal attempt. Orton with time, pulls it down and throws incomplete. Stops the clock with 10 seconds to play. It'll be 3rd and 10. And there is Mr. Prater. In his career, 8 out of 10 from 50 yards or more. And a 56-yard field goal is his career high.
Well, Denver has no timeouts, correct? They are out of timeouts, so whatever they're going to do here, it has to be to the sideline.
The Jets drop 4 players deep into the secondary. Orton going to throw for it all for Royal. Just out of the end zone and just over his fingertips.
And just barely got it in. I guess they thought with 10 seconds that they could go all the way in an extended pattern like that. And again, Darrelle Revis right there making a play on the football.
And here comes Prater, and he's going to line this one up from 59 yards out. We'll say it again. He was making these in the pregame. A little bit different story here. Kick on its way. With room to spare.
Well, we commented during warm-ups, it's a little tougher to make those in a pressure situation when you're being rough, when you're being rushed rather, and everybody in the stadium is watching, but maybe it's not any tougher because Matt Prater just drilled this right down the middle, and this was good with a couple yards to spare.
Josh McDaniel's squad jumps on top, 10-7 at halftime. The Sprint halftime report next after this message and a word from your local station. Welcome back to Denver, everyone. 10-7 Denver is our halftime score. And now let's look at the points of protection presented by Allstate. Protect the ball. Well, the Jets have turned the ball over twice and Denver once. Denver has to protect the run, and they've held the best rushing offense in the league, the New York Jets, to 48 yards today. And Brandon Lloyd has been held without a reception all day today. You remember the Denver Broncos won the toss and deferred, which means they will get their hands on the football first, and that is Parrish Cox, the rookie, deep for the kick as the Broncos get set to start this second half with the football. And that one will sail through the end zone. Denver will start at their own 20-yard line as we welcome you back, everyone. Greg Gumbel along with Dan Deerdorf. An interesting first half, wasn't it?
Well, you know, Greg, we started out with how was Denver going to respond to getting beat up last week, called out by their coach, from a physicality standpoint. Well, we have the answer to that. Who would ever believe that through the first half that the Denver Broncos have outrushed the New York. This is a team that couldn't run the ball against anybody, and now they're ahead of the number one rushing team in football. Pretty darn good first half for the guys in orange.
And the guys in orange now start from their own 20-yard line, and the give is to Noshawn Moreno for a couple of yards as we take a look at some first half numbers. And for people around the country who haven't been privy to this, it's going to come as a surprise, man.
Yes, it is. I mean, look at that, 60 rushing yards for the Broncos, 48 for the Jets. Big plays, explosive plays of 10 or more yards. The Broncos a decided advantage there. No, it has, forget the time of possession, but it has been a very satisfying start to this game for Denver.
On 2nd and 8, Orton throw over the middle, incomplete, penalty marker thrown late. Pass intended for Brandon Lloyd, who is still looking for his first reception. Antonio Cromartie was on it.
Cromartie giving that incredulous look backwards to see, was there really a flag thrown here? There wasn't a very good pass from Orton.
Defense, number 31, automatic first out.
Well, penalties are nothing new to the New York Jets. They're an aggressive defense.
Well, Cromartie has been all over Lloyd. Lloyd breaks to the inside. I didn't see it there.
That is the fourth interference call against the Jets today.
You can have your hand on the receiver's back as long as you're not rerouting him. At first blush, that did not look like bad coverage by Cromartie.
Tim Tebow back into the game, and he keeps it straight up the middle and out to about the 45-yard line where David Harris makes the stop. Been a tough day for Brandon Lloyd. Came in today as the number one receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, from a yardage standpoint with 30 receptions, and that's what he has now. There's Cromartie with him stride for stride. Orton overthrows him. That one he should have caught. Again, that time, there's Cromartie again. And Antonio Cromartie has played a good season of football so far through 5.5 games.
On 2nd and 5, this is Moreno. And Moreno to midfield and about a yard short of a first down. That's Brandon Lloyd's day-to-day. Offers.
Well, I doubt we'll see Kyle Orton stop trying to get it to him. But keep in mind now, you know, he leads the league in yardage, but on this team, you know, he came into this game with 30 receptions. Eddie Royal had 29. Gaffney had 31. So Orton is not shy about spreading the football around to those three guys.
Two tight ends now, and they run the ball straight ahead with Spencer Larson, and he is right at that first down marker.
Boy, did you hear that pop at the end of that? That's the way you expect a fullback's run to end, with an audible thud.
This looks to be really close. They're going to measure. I'm going to say they're a couple of inches short, Dan.
Well, that's, if you look at the chains, that's what it looks like. I agree with you. Looked like the chain was actually on the yard marker.
Ooh. I was wrong. It's not a couple of inches. It's about an inch. Oh, they give him the first down. Here's that collision at the line of scrimmage.
Now that is the way it sounds. That's not a tailback run. That's a fullback run.
So Denver with a first down at the Jet 49, and not by much. Moreno inside the 45 to the 44. And the Denver Broncos, you know, their fans must be sitting here wondering, who is this running the football today?
Well, first of all, they're wondering who's number 27, because he hasn't played in the last 3 games. Noshan Moreno, it actually got hurt in practice, if you can imagine that, and not during practice, but running conditioning sprints at the end of practice, and hurts his hamstring to the point where he misses 3 games. You don't see that every day.
Tebow again. And the give to Buckhalter. And the line of scrimmage now is about the 42.5-yard line. Tebow off the field now.
Well, Josh McDaniels was saying, don't read anything into the fact that Tebow hasn't played much. He said it's not anything that Tebow hasn't done. It's just that we're a better team when Kyle Orton is at quarterback, given the level at which he's playing the game.
Orton throws and completes for the first down to Lloyd, his first catch of the day.
Well, finally, you can see a little exuberance on the part of Brandon Lloyd. Nothing fancy here. Nothing fancy. You see the 3 receiver set on that side and hits a very short little curl pattern. Again, one of those that's tough to defend.
Meanwhile, the Broncos are at the Jet 36. Here's Lawrence Maroney. And Maroney picking up yardage inside the 30 to the 27.
Now Maroney's still trying to figure his way around Greater Denver. He was traded here on September the 15th, so he's only been here for a month. And again, Maroney, a guy, a #1 draft pick of the Patriots, but who injuries held him back and who just was never as productive as Bill Belichick would have liked.
You see, third quarter has not been great running the football for the Denver Broncos. Not that any other part of the game has been either so far this season. Maroney hit and decked in the backfield by Trevor Price, the former Denver Bronco, first-round pick of the Broncos back in '97.
Well, Trevor Price still owns a home here in the Denver area. It's got a couple Super Bowl rings that he won with the Broncos. And right there, you're asking the impossible of Zane Beadles, the right tackle, to get all the way down there and keep a slanting Trevor Price out of the backfield. No way. And he is a huge Rex Ryan fan, and Ryan feels the same about Price.
And now a 3rd and 5 for Orton. Over the middle, popped up into the air, and it falls incomplete. Mike DeVito had a hand on it.
And you're going, Mike DeVito. That's the old zone blitz. The fire dog, whatever you want to call it. It's got a lot of names, but DeVito, a defensive lineman, just drops back into the middle, and there's no way that Orton is expecting him there. He's the nose tackle, and he drops back and just sits there. There is no way that Kyle Orton is expecting the nose tackle to be a factor.
Prater from 49 yards. And he missed it. He hit from 59. He misses from 49. We stay 10-7 Denver. We've been talking all day about how this running game of the Jets has been kept in check. LaDainian Tomlinson has been kept in check so far today.
22 yards on 10 carries.
And they go to the Seminole formation with Brad Smith. They start with their best field position of the day. Smith, Sean Green, and Green out across the 45 to about the 47.5.
Well, Denver's done a good job of setting the edge and not letting Tomlinson get outside. This time Champ Bailey gets up the field. You can see right there, forcing Tomlinson back into traffic where he trips over his own guy. Again, set the edge, get upfield, turn everything back in. It was Champ Bailey again to that side. But it has been tough sledding for LaDainian Tomlinson, and we've got another Denver player down.
That's Kevin Vickerson, the 5th-year defensive end out of Michigan State. They'll look after him. We'll take a break with 9:27 to play in the third.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Corona, who invites you to find your beach. And by TD Ameritrade.
Kevin Vickerson was able to walk off the field to an ovation from the Broncos fans. And a reminder for you, tonight, here on CBS, the CEO of Frontier Airlines is going undercover, taking on tough jobs and earning his wings the hard way. It's an all-new Undercover Boss. Tonight, only CBS. That last run by Sean Green, a 9-yarder, the best Jets rush of the day. And they're back to the Seminole formation with Smith calling signals. He'll keep it across midfield to the 46 of the Broncos, where Nate Jones makes the tackle.
And this is the situation. Ferguson gets up a little slowly there, but talking about the Jets offensive line, this is the point in the game where they've got a reputation, and this is where reputations are defended and earned.
Dan, how about all the work Brad Smith has to put in during the week? Kick coverage, kick return, the wide receiver. He runs the Seminole, and the Jets use a timeout. Coach Bill Callahan, offensive line coach of the Jets, as we take a break. 10-7 Broncos. 8:43 to play in the third. The Jets down 3 with the ball at the Denver 46, and Mark Sanchez, a little confusion in the Jet huddle, forced him to call a timeout. First down. The fake to Tomlinson. Sanchez in trouble and banged down at the 48-yard line. Marcus Thomas led the charge for the Broncos.
Well, that was really a good job again of the Broncos showing discipline on defense by staying at home on the backside. Jason Hunter, see him over there, number 52. Sanchez wanted to roll out back to that backside. He's accustomed to coming out there all by himself. And instead of going into pursuit, Jason Hunter did his job, got upfield, and turned Sanchez back.
Sanchez, a wide receiver, back to the Seminole formation. Green and Tomlinson in the backfield with Brad Smith. And the give straight ahead to Green. And Green inside the 45 to the 43. Denver had 5 sacks in their first 5 games. They've registered 2 today on Sanchez.
Well, they give Mark Sanchez every week a list of the plays, and he does a love, like, and hate, where he's telling the coaches the plays he really loves, those he likes. He always puts a hate next to the Seminole play. He does not like not being under center.
3rd and 7. Quick drop, the pass on the slant is complete, but he looks short of a first down. Santonio Holmes with the catch.
Well, what a matchup here, Santonio Holmes on Champ Bailey. It looked like he had Bailey really overcommitted to the outside, but that was a nice reaction coming back in onto the play by Champ Bailey. After a dozen years, still getting it done.
And now Nick Folk is going to line up what would be a 56-yard field goal attempt.
Which, as you see, 3 yards longer than anything he's ever made.
On its way.
Welcome to Denver.
That's a career long for Nick Folk, a 56-yarder, and we're tied at 10. Nick Folk gets it away and loves the way it looks. 6:41 to play in the third.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sony. And by Toyota.
A mile high means more bang for your field goal buck. A 56 and a 59-yarder today. 10-10 with 6:41 to play in the third. And Nick Folk ready to kick it away to Parrish Cox. Into the end zone. Cox will not run it out, and the Broncos will start from their own 20-yard line. And let's go back to that field goal by Nick Folk. How many guys on the side, Dan?
Well, Denver decides to go with an unusual look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Who needs 11 when you can play with 9? A couple guys are getting a much-needed rest. If the Jets might have decided they wanted to run a fake to the right side, it might have gone a long way against the shorthanded defense. Those are the kind of mistakes the Jets have already noted.
On the quick pass. Good for about 2 or 3 yards to Eddie Royal. That is a Jets franchise record, that 56-yarder that Nick Folk just made.
Well, we were talking about it in the first half, watching both teams warm up. The ball was really traveling today. Of course, it's always good for about 10% more up here at this elevation. It's got the kickers love it. No breeze to speak of today and thin air.
On 2nd and 7.
Oof, hello.
Eddie Royal met by Darrelle Revis. I think you can hear this.
And that's just good, hard football. That was just good job by Darrelle Revis. The receiver, you're looking back at the quarterback. You don't have a chance. You know something coming.
Meanwhile, Kyle Orton began the game 5 out of 8. He's been 3 of 14 since and running for his life now. Diving across the 30 and diving for a first down at the 32.
Boy, and he got away. He got away from the Jets' best pass rusher in Calvin Pace. And you don't see that very often, where Pace has a chance to get the quarterback and he lets him get away.
Denver now with a season-high 93 yards rushing on the day. Orton spread out as a wide receiver and Tebow in the quarterback. Tebow going to keep it to about the 37 or 38-yard line.
And again, this is the most action that Tim Tebow has seen in his NFL career here in the 6th game of the season, and it has been very productive. It has been a while since Denver's been knocking off anything resembling 6 yards on first down. Running the ball.
2 tight ends in on 2nd and 4. Moreno in the backfield. Moreno gets the handoff and got maybe a yard. You remember all last season, Dan? I thought it was fun. Every single coach that we ran into, one of the questions we ask is, if you drafted Tim Tebow, what would you do with him? And the answers ran the gamut.
They ran the gamut from I don't know to he'd be a running back, he'd be a slot back, he'd be more than anything else. You probably heard that H-back type of thing. Not many people thought that he's going to be my every down quarterback.
Meanwhile, Demaryius Thomas, the first-round draft pick out of Georgia Tech, makes his first appearance of the day. He's number 88. Going to go deep, incomplete. Pass intended for Daniel Graham, and the penalty flag down again.
Jim Leonard, the safety, was tied up with Graham.
Pass interference, offense, number 89.
Whoa.
This penalty is declined. The result of the play, 4th down.
Well, another offensive interference. Take a look at Graham right here. And you're right, he shoves back and he hits Jim Leonard. That is the 3rd offensive pass interference penalty of this game. 2 against the Jets, now 1 against Denver.
You know, Trevor Price stood right there by that penalty flag until the call was made and then picked it up and handed it to the official. Jim Leonard deep. Makes the catch and is immediately tackled at the 19-yard line by Cassius Vaughn. That's where the Jets will begin with 3:50 to play in the 3rd. Welcome back, everyone. Sean Green and John Connor in the backfield as the Jets have a first down at their own 19-yard line. Orange Sunday by decree, the mayor of Denver, and the Broncos have responded well. Out to about the 23-yard line is Sean Green, and we have a penalty marker on the far side of the field. Tony Correnti has had a lot of
78 had
airtime.
reported eligible. There's no foul. Second down.
So wipe that away. Meanwhile, what are the Jets fighting for? Overall first place in the AFC East. New England a winner today. Miami a winner. Buffalo with a bye week on this Ralph Wilson's 92nd birthday today.
And then the Jets, of course, heading into their bye week next weekend.
It's a nice birthday present for Ralph Wilson that
Yes,
a team
it is.
doesn't have to play today.
Now that's cruel.
2nd and 7.
But true.
They have struggled. Sanchez under pressure, eludes it, throws, tipped and incomplete. Pass intended for Dustin Keller. Mario Hagan had a shot at Sanchez and didn't get him.
Well, Mark moves so well, and Hagan goes right by him because he just juked himself back up into the middle, and in trying to get it to Dustin Keller. And again, another bouncing ball that could have been disastrous.
3rd and 7, and the play clock winding down on Sanchez. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He got it off. Buying himself time. Still has time. And throws over the middle. Tipped in the air and falls incomplete.
Well, that time just a 3-man rush and 8 in coverage for Denver paid off. Because Mark Sanchez, even with all that time, still didn't have an open receiver. He was trying to find one there at the end when it got tipped. That was exemplary work by the 8 coverage guys for Denver.
Sidquan Thompson is deep for the punt back at his own 30-yard line. Fair catch at the 33 and a half. And with 2:59 to play here in the third, we will remind you Wednesday on CBS with a senator as their client. The stakes have never been higher. Jim Belushi and Jerry O'Connell are the defenders. Wednesday, only CBS. Coming in, you would have thought that the Denver Broncos could use a couple of defenders with the way the injuries piled up.
Well, Denver over 100 yards running the football.
Who would have thunk it?
That's double their normal average, which was anemic.
Moreno to about the 36. Pickup of about 2 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Now it's, having Moreno back is a good thing. Maroney, every time that he's in the game, he's becoming a little more comfortable, but it's really been the work of the guys up front. There's been some good work by this Denver offensive line. And they're a better team, I think, with Beatles, the rookie, at right tackle. Keep in mind they're starting 2 rookies here, one at center, one at right tackle.
Moreno once again, maybe to the 38. And Moreno will go to the sideline. And Correll Buckhalter will come onto the field for 3rd and 6. Say this for the Denver Broncos. It appears they heard their coach last week.
And they have responded. Win or lose this game, they've responded.
Deep down this sideline, has a man open, caught, and a penalty marker's thrown after the play as well. Brandon Lloyd pulled it in, and then Leonard hit him hard.
Well, I wonder if they're going to say Leonard went after him with his helmet. Or, hey, for all I know, it's another offensive interference. We've had so many of them today. That ball just seemed to take forever to get there.
And here's Tony Correnti. Tony's like the third member of our crew today with his microphone.
Well, again, he's trying to get this thing square.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, helmet penalty contact, defense number 36. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play, first out.
Here's the play.
Well, the ball floated up in the air, and you see Orton just took a heck of a shot from Bart Scott. And geez, Jim Leonard comes in there with his shoulder, and they're calling it so tight now.
How is that unnecessary roughness?
They're saying that Lloyd was not in a position to defend himself. There's a bit of a head scratcher there. Rex Ryan, he's wondering whether or not Lloyd got both feet down in possession of the football.
Meanwhile, the Jets, 6 penalties today for 74 yards. Here's a look.
Let's see possession. Okay, it looks like he had solid possession. Now let's go to the feet. He's got the ball. It's pretty solid. Looks like both feet are down. And does he hold on to the whoa, the football comes loose when he hits the ground out of bounds. He's got to hit the ground, and the football has got to stay firmly in his possession. Let's look at it from this angle one more time. Tony Correnti is going to be looking at this right here. You see where that ball comes out of his grasp a little bit? It doesn't have to touch the ground when you're out of bounds for that to be ruled an incomplete pass.
After reviewing the play, the Broncos receiver possessed the ball with 2 feet in bounds. It is a completed pass. New York Jets will be charged with their second timeout.
Yeah, but that didn't address what happened once he left the field of play.
No, it didn't. But I guess Tony Correnti is saying that what he said was that his possession when he was in the field of play was enough that he established it with 2 feet, and then what happened out of bounds was after he had already completed the process of the catch.
And that takes a Jets timeout away and leaves them with 1 timeout for the remainder of this game.
So Tony Correnti is saying that the process of catching that ball ended in the field of play. I've seen it go both ways in that situation, but that's a good ruling by Correnti.
The end result is a first down for Denver at the New York 17-yard line. Sean Moreno in the backfield. Play fake. Pass across the way. Incomplete, intended for the tight end Daniel Graham. 2nd and 10.
Well, Graham was certainly open on the play.
Denver has not been great in the red zone.
Well, look how they are getting into the red zone. 2nd best in the NFL, and then they drop all the way down to 26th in actually making touchdowns happen in the red zone.
2nd and 10. Orton going to throw near side. That is pulled in. Touchdown. The rookie Demaryius Thomas.
Well, Demaryius Thomas is a big guy at 6'3", and again, Darrelle Revis, the coverage by Revis is pretty darn good, and Demaryius Thomas uses that height. And the question is, did he get both feet down?
I don't think he got his right foot down in the end zone after he had control. No challenge forthcoming from the Jets. The extra point is good. 66 yards in 5 plays. Took a minute 36 seconds for the Denver Broncos as they take a 17-10 lead. Demaryius Thomas bobbled that ball once and then watch the right foot on the replay.
Well, it doesn't matter anymore now, but let's look at it to see. Boy, that is really close as to where do you exactly say possession happened. Let's just say it happens right there.
And then the right foot comes down.
And then the right foot comes down out of bounds.
Yep.
That was because he does bobble it for just a second. I think there was a really good chance that if challenged, that might have been overturned.
As you say, that chance is by the boards now. It's in the books. Denver with a 1-touchdown lead, a minute 23 to play here in the third. The numbers on Darrelle Revis today.
Well, it's not like Darrelle Revis is allowing people to run around this stadium uncovered. He is in their hip pocket, and there have been some completions against pretty darn good coverage. Sometimes you got to give the other guy credit. That time, give the credit to Demaryius Thomas.
Brad Smith going to run this one out of the end zone, 2 yards deep, across the 20, and out close to the 25-yard line.
Well, it's a 17-10 game here in favor of Denver. Mark Sanchez threw an interception early on in this game, then a bad snap. That cost Denver a pretty easy field goal with a bad snap. Then he comes back, Sanchez to Braylon Edwards for a touchdown. And then Tim Tebow gets around the right edge, and he gets his first ever NFL touchdown. And this is for 56 yards. And now we just saw this by Demaryius Thomas. And the Denver crowd here is on their feet and going wild.
First down from the 24-yard line. Sanchez to throw. Got his man up the seam, and that's Dustin Keller, midfield, still going, 45-40, and out of bounds close to the 35 of the Broncos.
An absolutely perfect strike from Mark Sanchez. Dustin Keller lines in tight. You see him working against Mario Hagan, who's got the coverage, but that pass from Sanchez was just dead, solid, perfect. Number 6 and number 81. A lot of chemistry between those two. A lot of good off-season work paying off here in October.
In the end around, Santonio Holmes, 25, 20. Lost the football. Denver recovers.
Well, Santonio Holmes just ran into the only 2 guys in that neighborhood. What?
Third turnover of the day by the Jets. Ronaldo Hill gets up with the football.
It just looked at first blush like one of those things where Holmes could have gotten around those guys. But he just, Braylon Edwards is out there trying to make a block on Parrish Cox, and Holmes runs right into him. It looked like he could have cut to his left and gotten behind Braylon Edwards, who was out there making a block, and he somehow just ran right into the 2 guys.
The Jets have 1 turnover in their first 5 games of this season. They've had 3 today. Moreno buried at the 19-yard line. And we'll see if Denver gets off another play before time expires here in the third.
I was never a great open field runner, but I always thought the object was to avoid the people that were out there in front of you.
You always told me you were.
Whatever happened to the old make 'em miss?
We'll exchange ends of the field. And when the fourth quarter starts, the Denver Broncos will have a 1-touchdown lead. We come to the end of the third. Denver 17 and the Jets 10. Back after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Along with our producer Mark Wolf, our director Bob Fishman, Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf back in Denver for the start of the fourth quarter. On 2nd and 9. Horton running out of time, and he goes down at the 10-yard line, courtesy of Sione Boha.
Well, Bohu has been active in the passing game today. He deflected one earlier, and now you don't expect this kind of pressure. I know Orton's got plenty of time, but for the nose tackle who's replacing Chris Jenkins, a good job of not stopping, keeping the legs driving, and getting upfield. Anytime you get that kind of pressure and a sack from an interior lineman, that is great.
3rd and 17 now. And Buckhalter trying to turn the corner and cannot. And the Jets will get the ball back and should get it in decent field position. What was it that Coach Josh McDaniels was saying about the Jets in field position?
He was saying we have to do such a good job on field position and special teams because the Jets normally outgain from a field position standpoint their opponents by about 100 yards a game. And he said Bill Parcells always believed that was worth about a touchdown.
Kick is away. Leonard, fair catch, and runs out of bounds at about the 47-yard line. On the sideline, Mark Sanchez telling his guys, we'll get after him. He'll have his chance after this. And coming up, time permitting, after the game, the Subway postgame show. JB, Dan Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowell will have all the latest NFL scores and highlights on the Subway postgame show. Jets with the ball, their own 47-yard line, down a touchdown. Straight ahead, Tomlinson to midfield.
And I am sure right now there's some degree of frustration setting in with this Jets offense that they aren't able to run the football any more effectively than they have.
Well, that's only LT's second carry since the first quarter.
I mean, 22 rushes on the day and 89 yards to show for it. Look at that. Just a little more than half of their season average to this point.
Back to the Seminole formation. Brad Smith calling the signals. And he'll keep spinning for about 3 yards. An update from the NFL today. JB back in the saddle. James.
Greg and Dan, take a look. This is a game like these guys are playing. No, it's a playoff elimination game. Tony Romo hooking up with Dez Bryant on 3rd and 11. A 31-yard strike. 3rd TD of the day for Romo. All knotted at 21. And Greg, per your suggestion, I brought the IV stand with me to the studio.
Thank you, JB. Good to have you back. 3rd and 4. Sanchez, incomplete. Pressure right up the middle.
Yeah, I'll say pressure and elevation. Talk about selling out, trying to get after the quarterback. Take a look at this blitz coming right up the middle. DJ Williams, he gets undercut, but he still disrupts Mark Sanchez.
Saquon Thompson is deep. Weatherford's kick, fair catch called for and made at the 6-yard line. So, Broncos backed up. 12:25 to play in the fourth. 1 touchdown lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Cadillac, the new standard of the world. Rogue Skyline. On November 12th, our first encounter will be our last stand. And by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Back in Denver, the Broncos first down, their own 7-yard line. Coming into the game, Denver's been passing 66% of the time. They've rushed for 29 times, thrown for 27. And no Sean Moreno with the carry there, out to about the 9.
Well, here's a situation for Denver that this would be a successful drive if you measured it not in points, but in first downs. If they were somehow able to hammer out a couple here and just try to put themselves in a position where maybe they can make the Jets start on the other side of the 50, it would be a successful outing.
Moreno in the backfield on 2nd and 7. Moreno again, and he's buried for a loss. at the 7. Bart Scott and Calvin Pace. What's been happening around the league today? Well, plenty. Ben Roethlisberger back with a bang as the Steelers win at 28-10. They'll go up against Miami next week. We'll be there. The Dolphins won it in overtime on a Dan Carpenter field goal. And in New England, not sure that a regular season win is revenge for a playoff loss, but I'm sure it'll do for now for Bill Belichick.
It didn't take long for Deion Branch to make an impact.
3rd and 10. Orton going to throw deep down this sideline. It is bobbled and out of bounds, incomplete. Cromartie and Leonard all over Brandon Lloyd, and for the second straight time, the Denver offense goes 3 and out. And barring something unforeseen, the Jets should gain in field position again on this exchange.
Well, Kyle Orton just had to throw this up because, boy, did the Jets bring everybody except 3 guys back in coverage. That was an all-out blitz. Orton had no chance to put it up into coverage. Well done by New York.
Full put out of his own end zone. Kyle Wilson going to let it bounce and pick it up at the 40. And out of bounds at the 45-yard line. 10:43 to play in the fourth quarter. Jets with the ball, down by 7.
Welcome back to Denver, everybody. There's the average starting field position of the Jets and their opponents. Here it is today. You can see not nearly that good, although they're enjoying it on this possession here when they really need it.
Sanchez back to throw with time. Over the middle. Got his man inside 35. That's Santonio Holmes for a first down.
And again, this is all part of the growing up process for Mark Sanchez. His team's trailing. The running game isn't making it happen, and he's going to have to do something with his arm. That time he delivers a good ball to Holmes, who, after faking going downfield, comes back on a little skinny post. The ball was right there.
Now from the 32 and a half. Sean Green inside the 30. Lost his helmet.
Oh, this helmet display is over.
And forward progress will be marked at about the 24-yard line. That'll be about a yard short of a first down.
That's a new rule this year. When the runner's helmet comes off, the play is dead immediately. I know it always made for great highlights watching a guy run after he lost his helmet, but needless to say, player safety trumps that.
Tomlinson in the backfield. Gets the handoff, has the first down to about the 20. Time for another NFL Today update once again to Captain IV, James Brown.
Greg and Dan, you heard Charlie Casserly say earlier, Alex Smith of the 49ers would not play conservatively anymore. He loosens his tie up there, hooking up with Michael Crabtree. 32 yards to pay dirt. San Fran on top of Oakland 10-6. That in the fourth. Back to the unflappable Greg Gumbel and Dan Dierdorf.
And that should keep Mike Singletary's head from exploding for the time being. Huh?
That game's far from over.
First down, Jets. Sanchez, little pump fake, pulls it down, throws, and that is incomplete.
Oh,
John
Sanchez
Connor out of the backfield wanted a flag. Sanchez wants the flag.
He's going to walk all the way over. Mark, there's not going to be a flag. You might as well get back in the huddle and get a play going. I think DJ Williams is the Bronco here in coverage, and he did have a hold of the jersey a little bit. But Mark, they're not going to throw it.
2nd and 10. Tomlinson, running room, 10, 5, touchdown! LT's fourth rushing touchdown of the season. And the running game comes to life when the Jets need it most.
Well, the old-fashioned stretch play, run to perfection. Watch Mark Sanchez sprint to make this handoff. John Connor out front with a crushing block as he really lowers his head. And then LT showing that burst and able to take it into the end zone. But that is one of those, that stretch play where the quarterback has to haul it to get all the way out there to make that exchange.
Nick Folk for the extra point and the tie, and it's good. 8 minutes, 36 seconds to play. Fourth quarter, LaDainian Tomlinson to the end zone, and we're tied at 17.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Subway Restaurants. Try the newest $5 footlong Subway Club today. And by Verizon, the official wireless service provider of the NFL.
We were tied at 7, we were tied at 10, and we are now tied at 17, and LaDainian Tomlinson in the ground game have come to life. Parrish Cox will not run it out of the end zone, and Denver will start at their own 20-yard line. 8:36 to play in the fourth.
And finally now the New York Jets have more rushing yardage than the Denver Broncos. And that offense of theirs is based on being able to run the football and then everything that comes with it in terms of the play action and the rollouts with Sanchez. But you can see that the Jets defensively, boy, what a job they are doing against Kyle Orton in this vaunted Denver passing game.
Well, the Jets have turned the ball over 3 times, but the Broncos have only managed to garner 3 points off of those 3 turnovers. From the 20. Orton with time, lots of time, throws, oh, what a catch. What a catch across the 35 and out to the 40 by Brandon Lloyd.
Boy, and Brandon Lloyd, after being shut out in the first half, showing some exuberance. What kind of a pocket does Orton have here? An outstanding one. How's that? Nobody anywhere near him in the pocket. And then a little stutter route. You could see Lloyd taking it easy. And that ball just floated right in over the top at Leonard. That was an outstanding throw by Orton.
Those 3 catches for 54 yards, as you mentioned, Dan, all here in the second half for Lloyd. Moreno, room to run. 45, midfield into Jets territory to about the 47-yard line.
Well, again, in this battle of field position in a tied ball game, a couple of big chunks of yardage for Denver. Now they get to play football on the Jets side of the 50, and that is huge. At this stage of a game, you want to be playing the football game in your opponent's territory.
Dead even at 124 yards rushing. We get penalty markers. And a false start, it appears, by Denver.
False start. Offense number 68.
Zane
5-yard penalty.
Beatles.
Remains first down.
So keep in mind, again, the New York Jets, a Monday nighter, and then coming across country. Rex Ryan brought them in on Friday. All the clocks in the Jets hotel, Eastern time.
Well, and just not another Monday nighter, a very emotional game, a huge contest against the Vikings.
Maroney to the 48. Clock continues to move. We are under 6:45 to play here in the fourth quarter.
I think the big story of this game, though, is the way that the Denver Broncos have responded to what happened to them last week. They got outrushed by almost 200 yards in the game by Baltimore. They got nearly physically assaulted by the Ravens. And they have really come back and played themselves a proud football game today.
2nd and 11, down the far sideline. It is pulled in and then dropped incomplete. Pass intended for Demaryius Thomas. And Darrelle Revis was with him.
And yes, he was with him. Right with him. Again, I mean, the only way that ends up being a completion is if Demaryius Thomas, which he nearly does, makes some highlight film grab, because Darrelle Revis is just in absolutely the right place. He's playing the football, he sees it coming, and he gets his right hand up there and disrupts it.
And by the way, Dan, everybody we talk to, they say the sky is the limit for Demaryius Thomas.
Oh, yes.
3rd and 11. Orton, big field in front of him. Going to take off and get the first down and more, diving inside to the 35-yard line. First down, Broncos. It just opened up.
Well, Kyle Orton is not afraid to run the football. He actually had the best rushing average on this entire team coming into this game. And who wants to take a slide when you can dive for it head first? Smart play by Kyle Orton.
Tebow into the game. Orton flanks to the top of your screen. Tebow at quarterback. Maroney in the backfield with him. And it's Tebow for a couple. Let's run you right back to James Brown in New York for an NFL Today update.
Hey, Greg, you heard Charlie Casserly say earlier Alex Smith was no longer going to be conservative. Earlier, he went 32 yards to Michael Crabtree for a touchdown. This one here, play action to Vernon Davis, 17 yards for the score, capping a 3-play, 80-yard drive, 17-9 San Fran over Oakland. Greg Gumbel, Dan Deardorff.
All right, JB, thank you.
You know, Greg, a point, when Tebow is running this offense, at some point in time, you got to let him throw it if you really want it to be effective.
Tebow on 2nd and 8. Going to keep it to the 30. Got to make it 3rd and about 3. Tebow comes to the sideline. Talking about Demaryius Thomas, just to review, first-round draft pick out of Georgia Tech, 6'3", 229. Nice numbers for a wide receiver.
Well, he's the type of physical presence that makes everyone out here think of Brandon Marshall, the recently departed physical force, now in Miami. The Jets are crowding that line. Here they come.
Orton going to throw deep down the sideline and complete. Thomas, the intended receiver, or at least in the vicinity, and Revis was with him. Orton threw that one away, and here comes Matt Prater.
Well, again, that's Rex Ryan's entire concept. You bring that many people, it forces the quarterback. The ball is going to leave his hand in 2 or 3 seconds.
Prater has been good from 59, missed from 49, and this one will be from 48.
And keep in mind they had the bad snap on a relatively short field goal in the first half.
Good snap. The kick is away, and certainly straight enough and long enough. Broncos with a 20-17 lead. 3:55 to play in regulation. So Mark Sanchez getting it wound up, and we'll remind you next Sunday, the NFL on CBS doubleheader action. Dan and I will be in Miami as the Dolphins play host to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then at 4:15 Eastern time, many of you will see the New England Patriots out in San Diego against the Chargers. Check your local listings. It all begins with the NFL Today at noon Eastern time.
What a good-looking group of guys. Will you look at them?
You know, when you see them up close, they're not that good looking.
Really?
No.
Well, that would really be disappointing. All these years. There's a Don't let the hat being a little too big be an issue. Improvisation, that's the key.
3:55 to play in regulation. Denver with a 3-point lead. Brad Smith is deep. This one will go into the end zone, and Smith will not run it out, and the Jets will start from their own 20-yard line. As far as action around the league today, Kevin Cobb, 326 yards throwing for the Eagles, and Aaron Rodgers not far behind him How about Matt Schaub rallying the Houston Texans to victory?
Jay Cutler can't get a touchdown on the rushing front. Ivory is having to do all the work in New Orleans with Pierre Thomas being out. He comes up with a big day. Jeremy Maclin for the Eagles. Calvin Johnson, a couple big days.
On first down, Sanchez pumps, throws, far side for Edwards, incomplete. Went up and got a hand on it. Ronaldo Hill was covering.
Well, Braylon Edwards has a lot of time to run this route because of how long Mark Sanchez has back in the pocket, that he's able to go all the way back to the outside, but this ball just way too high. Braylon Edwards is actually in position where that could have been a completion, but the ball sailed on Sanchez, and this stadium is shaking.
Tomlinson, left side to the 25. It'll be third and a big 5 yards for the Jet offense.
Nice patience by LT. That's what comes from all these years in the league. Let the guys get set up, and then I'll go to school and watch myself on the video board.
Here comes the orange crowd again. On the slant, that's complete across the 30-yard line to Edwards, and a first down for the Jets. 3 minutes to play.
Well, the Jets are in a situation where they only have one timeout remaining. So they're not in a position to be able to give the ball back to Denver and think that they're going to be able to get the ball back with a great deal of time left, with only having one stoppage plus the 2-minute warning.
Sanchez throws outside, and that's complete. And out of bounds. That'll stop the clock for the moment. Jericho Cotchery on the receiving end just across the 35-yard line. Santonio Holmes onto the field.
And again, keep in mind that we are in Denver, Colorado at 5,200 feet above sea level. We've already seen a 56 and a 59-yard field goal made.
Tomlinson spins away from one tackler, but not able to reach the line of scrimmage. Marcus Thomas, Mario Hagan combining.
Well, LT had to make a heck of a move just to get back anywhere near the line of scrimmage. Mario Hagan was 3 yards upfield.
3rd and 8. Sanchez throwing far side, and that is caught near midfield by Santonio Holmes for a first down.
That was good work between Mark Sanchez and Santonio Holmes. Santonio Holmes looking back here. He keeps looking into the backfield. Well done. The Jets still in it.
2 minutes to play in Denver. Along with Dan Deerdorf and the rest of our CBS Sports crew, Greg Gumbel. 2 minutes to play in Denver. The Broncos with a 3-point lead on the Jets. Jets ball at their own 48-yard line. First down. Jets with one timeout remaining. Sanchez over the middle. Tomlinson to the 48 of the Broncos, about a 4-yard gain.
If you get down to the 40, you're looking at about a 58-yard field goal.
Clock continues to move. A minute 40 to play. Sanchez with time, throws on the outside, incomplete. Intended for Jericho Cotchery. Those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, this is the NFL on CBS. The Jets and the Broncos. Greg Gumbel and Dan Deerdorf. Our score is 20-17 Broncos. And 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast. There is Nick Folk. He's had a 56-yard field goal in this game.
The Broncos didn't bring pressure last time. They went with a conservative rush.
Over the middle, incomplete. Broken up by Nate Jones, intended for Dustin Keller. 4th and 6.
Again, Keller going down the middle of the field and Nate Jones with him, stride for stride. It was a 4-man rush. Plenty of time for Sanchez to set up and deliver, but the coverage was there.
Sanchez pumps twice. Now throws deep down the sideline. It is incomplete. Penalty marker's thrown. Penalty marker is thrown inside the 5. Ronaldo Hill covering Santonio Holmes.
Pass interference, defense number 23, automatic first down.
Okay, they're on the stutter and go. Ronaldo Hill, Santonio Holmes. Ronaldo Hill, he did grab, it looked like he hooked the face mask. Does he reach back and get the, yes he does. He reaches back and hooks the face mask of Santonio Holmes.
1st and goal.
The crowd's going nuts, but that was interference.
Tomlinson with Richardson in front of him. Tomlinson, touchdown!
Well, a back-breaking penalty against the Denver Broncos.
A 46-yard penalty.
Put the Jets in position where their offensive line could get it done and just barrel Tomlinson into the end zone.
This extra point will put the Broncos out of field goal range as far as tying this game. Folk's kick is good. 1:13 on the clock. 24-20 Jets.
Again, just great blocking. Look at Matt Slauson, the left guard, with his block as he's a couple yards back into the end zone. But this all turned on the 4th down interference penalty against Ronaldo Hill. And Mark Sanchez barely got that handoff. He lost his footing and was falling down as he made the handoff to Tomlinson. Let's look at it one more time. Hill's looking at Holmes, not playing the ball. Now he's going to turn around, but he's right here when he hooks back. He grabbed his head. I mean, you could see Santonio Holmes, his face mask, his helmet jerk as Ronaldo Hill grabbed his face. Right there, you can see it that.
And Holmes almost made the catch.
He did almost make the catch, but there was contact prior to the arrival of the football. Nobody here at Invesco Field likes it, but I think the official was right there and made the correct call.
Parrish Cox is deep. Cox will not run it out. And Denver will start from their own 20-yard line with 1:13 to play and 3 timeouts. And tonight on CBS is all new, beginning with 60 Minutes, followed by The Amazing Race, Undercover Boss, and CSI Miami, tonight only CBS. Once Denver fans see this on the highlights, Dan, they'll be convinced that it was a pretty justified call.
I mean, look at that. He actually, and the football is on the way in there. You can just see Santonio Holmes, his head moves to the side. The helmet rotates on his head.
Orton with 3 timeouts and 80 yards to go. Far sideline, that is complete. And bumped out of bounds is Jabbar Gaffney. 1:08 to play.
I'm thinking about Jimmy Leonard, the safety for the Jets. All 5'8" of him. He will hit you. If you're going to get anywhere where 36 is close to you, you're going to get a pop.
First down at the 32. Orton, far sideline, and that is caught across midfield by Brandon Lloyd.
Oh boy, throwing into really tight coverage. Cromartie, he couldn't believe this ended up being completed. Geez, that is a heck of a play by Lloyd and a good throw by Orton.
And Denver calls a timeout.
Well, they have covered a lot of territory in just a couple of seconds. And again, no field goal is worth talking about here. This is end zone or bust for the Denver Broncos. But those were 2 outstanding plays by Kyle Orton.
They've gone 32 yards in 15 seconds.
I mean, he's throwing footballs against Cromartie and against Rivas that are just cases of the quarterback saying, here it comes, you've got to make a play on it. Because the coverage is there, I can't do anything about it, I'm throwing it anyway.
Jet defenders are really deep.
Well, you know what? It's been pressure by the Jets. And now it looks like what? Are they only going to come with 3? Yep.
Orton, all kinds of time, and now throws deep to the near sideline. It is incomplete. Pass intended for Demaryius Thomas, and Eric Smith was covering.
Who, for a while, was really open. By the time the football got there, Jim Leonard was able to, Eric Smith rather, was able to come back and make the recovery. And it looks strange looking at the Jets just sending 3 and dropping 8. That is not what they normally do.
2nd and 10, 49 seconds to play. Here they come, past this side, and that is caught. Great catch by Jabbar Gaffney. Clock continues to move, and now a timeout is called with the ball at the Jets' 44.
And that was more like the Jets. That was more like the Jets coming with a rush where you force the quarterback to make a quicker decision. That's what Orton did, and what a highlight catch by Gaffney. But that ball looked like it hit the ground. You know, we're inside 2 minutes. This is going to, let's see if we can look at that again, maybe. Let's take another look at that.
Actually, where it could hit the ground might have been shielded by the body, so we can't really tell from that angle, but there has been nothing from upstairs as yet, and inside of 2 minutes, it's automatic.
Yeah, it's not up to the coaches. It's up to the replay assistant upstairs. Well, he does have his hand underneath it. From that angle, it does look like Gaffney did have control of the football when it touched the ground.
Well, you don't want to completely infuriate these people here, do you?
Well, I don't think that comes into play right here.
They're already upset about the interference call,
which of course is not subject to review. Here's another look.
Hand under the football. 42 seconds to play. We'll take a timeout. Well, we were not told, but Tony Correnti did go under the hood to review this play.
As well he should have. Anything that close, you need to look at.
Reviewing the play, the ruling on the field will stand as a completed pass. 3rd down.
So nothing will change. The line of scrimmage is the Jet 44, and it'll be 3rd and 6 for Denver. They have 1 timeout remaining. A field goal brings them up short by a point. They need the end zone. 3rd and 6. Those of you waiting 60 minutes, it comes your way next, except on the West Coast. Lost the handle. Orton still looking for it. Covered by the Jets. Dwight Lowry covered the loose ball.
What a disappointing way for this game to end, as the snap from the rookie center, Walton, is a little bit to the left, and it glances off the left hand of Kyle Orton, and Dwight Lowry covers it up. Boy, sometimes you fight your butt off, and it just doesn't work out. And I'm sure right now J.D. Walton is trying to figure out what happened. He doesn't know where that snap went. All he knows is the Jets are covering up the football and are going to head into their bye week
on a 5-game winning streak.
And Trevor Price, the former Bronco, giving his head coach a big hug.
The Jets on to a bye week. Denver will await the Oakland Raiders here in Denver next week. Our final score, the Jets 24 and Denver 20. For Dan Deerdorf, Greg Gumbel saying so long from Denver. Tonight on CBS is all new, beginning with 60 Minutes, followed by The Amazing Race, Undercover Boss, and CSI Miami. The Jets are 5-1 on the year. The Broncos fall to 2-4. A comeback win for the Jets, 24-20 is the final. It's been fun. Thank you for joining us, everyone. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.